Hey y'all, welcome to another episode of Middleclass Artist. My name is Zach Finkelstein, and I'm the editor and writer of middleclassartist.com. Today we'll be talking about how to balance two careers, one in music performance and the other in a complementary field that interests you. A career that provides both a skill set to help you on your journey as a young artist and the financial security to keep you going in those tough early years. In the last few episodes we showed that early on, it's nearly impossible to make your living from singing full-time. The fees just don't add up to a living wage for young artists, and the expenses in high cost of living cities, along with taxes and fees from agents and training, mean that you may earn as little as 25 cents on the dollar for every gig. You'll need a second source of income to make it out of the wilderness of the early years. There are a lot of options out there for a smart, ambitious musician who's willing to channel the intensity they bring to practice and performance into developing a second set of marketable skills. Today, I'll outline three real-life cases: Jenn, the software developer, Arwen, the church communications director, and myself, Zach, the analyst/tenor/dad. I'll show how there are many ways to approach a successful singing career, and splitting your time between two careers, while challenging, can also be extraordinarily fulfilling in the long term. First, let's meet my friend Jenn. She's a full-time web development whiz, violinist, and opera singer extraordinaire. Jenn grew up in a musical household, starting with violin at age 3 and voice lessons at age 10. She kept it up through high school and decided in college to pursue degrees in math and computer science. After college, Jenn focused on her web development career, but a few years later she came back to music, first performing with small companies, then a few pay-to-sings and young artist programs. Last year, she made it into the Met Chorus for Porgy and Bess. A typical day has Jenn working remotely for her web development company from 9 to 6, with an hour of practice in the evenings. Her boss supports her music career and understands that when Jenn's in the middle of a gig, everything revolves around her rehearsals and performances. Jenn is sure to let her boss know in advance when she'll be on a gig and works from her homestay or hotel in between rehearsals. Next up is my soprano friend, Arwen. She splits her time between a freelance career as a professional soprano and as the Director of Communications and Marketing at Trinity Cathedral in Portland, Oregon. Arwen studied music performance in her undergrad and grad degrees at Indiana University. After she graduated, she moved to Portland and joined up as a staff singer at Trinity. A few months later, a spot opened for the Church Music Associate, a catch-all admin, communications, marketing, conducting, and teaching position. Over the next few years, Arwen built her reputation as a top-notch freelance singer and made herself indispensable to Trinity, managing their social media and communications. After a long conversation with the dean about her increased travel demands from singing, Arwen moved away from admin towards a more flexible position in marketing and communications. With the cathedral's blessing, she's on the road about a third of the year singing and works remotely as their Director of Communications and Marketing, picking up new skills like video editing and photography along the way. Arwen says it can be grueling to hold down what amounts to 2 full-time jobs, but she also says she wouldn't trade anything about her dual career. Both jobs exercise different parts of her brain, and she feels, as a result, more well-rounded and fulfilled. Our last case is, well, me. Hi, I'm Zach. I'm a professional concert tenor. I've been hustling out there for about a decade now as a soloist with symphonies, opera companies, and pro choral groups. In my dual career, I've also worked in marketing communications, public affairs, and brand strategy for 8 years as a research manager. Back in 2005, I graduated from McGill University with a bachelor's in political science. During my last few years of college, I worked as a research assistant for a politics professor, which led to a career track job as a data analyst at a consulting firm. I worked there for 3 years, about 60 hours a week. After a promotion, I started taking voice lessons with the extra money and fell in love with opera all over again. At the age of 25, I quit my job, went back to school for an artist diploma in vocal performance, and graduated in 2011 from the Royal Conservatory of Toronto. I hit the ground running, with 2 summers at Tanglewood and a debut at Lincoln Center with the Mark Moritz Dance Group. I signed with the manager in 2012 and started touring as a concert and opera singer, including solo debuts with companies like New York City Opera and the Seattle Symphony. In 2014, my old research firm reached out to see if I wanted any freelance work. That turned into a long-term commitment as a senior research manager. As a top performing consultant, I negotiated flexible work-from-home hours as part of the deal. For the last 5 years, I've worked about 3 months a year as a professional soloist at home and across North America, and like Jenn and Arwen, when I travel, I work from my hotel in between rehearsals and performances. At home, I work from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. for consulting, and the afternoons and evenings are dedicated to practicing, rehearsing, writing, and spending time with my wife and 1-year-old son. What do the three of us, Jenn, Arwen, and I, have in common? Well, none of us accepted the idea of a linear career. Jenn and I don't even have an undergrad in music. I'm the only one with an agent. And none of us went through years and years of young artist programs. We've all taken zigs and zags in different directions, looping back to music on our own time. Of course, we aren't all main stage singers at A-list houses, but we all have comfortable, successful careers in our various fields. There are so many jobs out there that didn't even exist 10 years ago. Many of these jobs work on the road with a cell phone and laptop. Interesting work like teaching ESL online in foreign countries, editing and proofreading through sites like Scribendi, and recording audiobooks online through sites like ACX. A dual career is not an easy path. My weekdays begin at 7 a.m. and end around 10 p.m. Jenn practices after a 9-hour workday and codes for her job between Met rehearsals. And Arwen, on a typical rehearsal or gig, works a full day at the cathedral first, breaking up her workday between the morning, meal breaks, and evenings after rehearsals finish. If you develop these skills now, though, if you build a career outside of music while you're training, you'll be able to outlast other young artists, and you'll have more options open to you in the future. Not as a fallback plan or a day job, a dual career that allows you the freedom to pursue your dreams on your own terms. And along the way, you'll pick up some valuable skills that'll help you navigate the business of singing. Thanks for listening. Next week, in the 4th and final episode of this series, we'll do a deep dive into young artist programs. Stay tuned for more Middleclass Artist next week on the Dallas Opera Network.